Tomorrow marks 28 years since a 16-year-old high school basketball star was murdered while walking to school. Trella Sykes was strangled and raped in Sunnyside just minutes after leaving her grandmother's house.
Yeah, and for those 28 years, police have been working to find her killer. Houston police reached out to our Courtney Fisher, whose series, Unsolved, remembers the missing and murdered whose stories have faded from the headlines.
Who killed Trellis and why? Here's Courtney.
Friday, her badly beaten body was found in this overgrown field.
It was really hard. Really hard.
She'd apparently taken a shortcut on her way to school that morning, a shortcut that cost her life.
When the forensics people came and they brought her body out, her leg was hanging and we seen the tennis shoe and that's how we knew it was her. My mama just broke down. It broke us all down. Never forget it. Never. Ever.
Pamela Sykes still struggles talking about that day, even 28 years later. Her niece, Trellis, was the star of the family. Trellis was going places, and basketball was taking her there.
The girl could run, she could jump, she could shoot, and I tell you, and you could not intimidate her.
Friends called her Tree. At nearly 6 feet, Trellis towered over most girls her age, but her size was about the only intimidating thing about her. Trellis was kind, quiet.
She kept everybody happy. She was a happy girl. She had a happy life.
May 13th, 1994. Trella Sykes took this shortcut to get to Worthing High School. She took it most days. A lot of kids did. But it looked a lot different back in '94. The whole field was overgrown. Weeds more than 8 feet tall covered the lot. Weeds the community had begged the city to cut down. Weeds that hid the killer, police say, as he watched and waited.
This is where the blitz occurred. This is where the suspect approaches her. This is where he pins her down. This is where he forces her to comply. And unfortunately, this is where she died.
Trellis fought like hell, Detective Darkus Shorten says. She broke nails as she clawed, trying to get away from her attacker. The teen was hit in the head, then raped and strangled. Her killer seemingly disappeared into the neighborhood.
Having someone with that strength and power, if she tried to scream, they wouldn't hear her.
I didn't leave my house for 2 months. It was scary. Didn't know who this person was.
School almost stopped. It really did. The students were so torn up about it. Reality set in on them that this could well enough happen to them, just like it happened to Trellis.
As friends and family packed into Christian Hope Baptist Church, praying and crying over the white casket with pink roses.
Your dying will not be in vain, baby.
There was an uneasiness. Not only was Trellis's killer still out there, stories about attacks on women and girls in Sunnyside started circulating. No one knew what to believe.
So many rapes going in the area and we had no clue.
Did you know at the time in Sunnyside that there were several women and girls who had been raped in that same area where
Yes,
Trellis?
I did. Yes,
You had
I
heard
did,
about that.
because I grew up in Sunnyside.
We started investigating this story to find Trellis's killer. What we found was 11 other women and girls were sexually assaulted over the course of the 16 months before Trellis's murder, within a few miles of her attack.
It was just an odd coincidence. This wasn't a coincidence. The ladies would all describe kind of the same titty shoes, height.
20 years would pass. Herman Whitfield was eventually found guilty of sexually assaulting 4 women in that neighborhood.
We wanted those women to know that we believed them. We are women, we believe them.
Whitfield is serving 4 life sentences. Detectives believe he's linked to more than 20 Sunnyside rapes. He is not a suspect in Trellis's murder. He's a person of interest, though. Someone these detectives have stayed interested in for decades.
When we saw the map of this just close cluster of all these locations where these sexual assaults occurred, and she is almost in the middle. There's too many coincidences for us to believe that it was someone else.
Do you think he had something to do with her case?
I believe he did. I believe he did. I'd like an answer, a definitive answer.